Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we're going to be doing my $50 upgrade to Deep Clue C. So we're going to be going through upgrading this with a bunch of cards. They're going to be focusing on clues, card advantage, investigate, that kind of stuff. So the way this deck works is basically, investigate, chucking out a whole bunch of clues, and then cracking those clues to draw cards, and then, using that extra card draw to be able to buff yourself up in various different ways. However, I've added some other ways for us to be able to use our clues, which I think will be great. Some ways to make some big stompies, some ways to be able to tutor stuff out, lots of different things in here. So I'll go through the cards that I've added in, and then I'll go through the cards that I have cut. So the first one here is going to be Nissa of Traken, and I guarantee that if she was not a Doctor Who card, she would have been in this pack. So first of all, you have no maximum hand size, which is great. If we don't have our commander out, we want to make sure that we've got more of that in there. But whenever she attacks, she sacrifices X artifacts. And then when you sacrifice those artifacts, you get to tap target creatures and draw cards. So we can turn all of our artifacts, we can tap someone out, we can draw a whole bunch of cards. All of a sudden, from all those extra card draws, we're going to, be able to buff people up and stuff. There's lots of really great ways that we can potentially use this. The fact that, you have no maximum hand size is great because, having more of those is really good in case our commander gets removed, or, some of the other ways that we've got this are removed. Next, we've got Profs Identic Memory, and you will notice again, this is another card that gives us no maximum hand size. When he enters the battlefield, we get to draw a card for 2, which is, pretty good. That's like, a basic kind of normal, card draw for 2. And then at the beginning of your turn, if you've drawn more than one card this turn, you're going to get to put +1/+1 target onto target creature you control, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn, -1. So basically any extra cards you draw, we're going to turn those into profit onto a thing and put a whole bunch of +1/+1 counters out. Next one is Swiftfoot Boots. I just want to protect my commander. I don't know, I'm surprised that this actually wasn't in there, but personally, I like having either Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves in my decks to make sure that I'm able to put a hexproof onto my commander to make sure that, we're not losing our commander for no reason, just some kind of protection there. We've got the Thousand Moons Smithy. So this one here is going to give us a white golem that's power and toughness are going to be equal to the number of artifacts or creatures we control. If we're going to be keeping a whole bunch of tokens, we can basically play this 2 ways. We can either be cracking our tokens, or we can just build some big stompies by putting out a whole bunch of artifacts with the clue tokens, and then we're going to be able to have those. We can then tap them to flip this over, and then we flip it over, we get to get mana, and then we can cast this, and whenever we use this to cast an artifact or creature spell, we get to make more of those golems. So we're just going to make golems. We're going to pump out a whole bunch of golems here because why not? And these golems are all going to be really strong because of us having a whole bunch of artifacts out there. We've got Deduce. I just wanted to add this one in because 1, it's a great card, and 2, I just thought it was very thematic. But being able to draw a card and then investigate for 2, I think is great. Easy, simple tokens for us to be able to add in there. I didn't add much ramp in here from the existing package, so I wanted to be able to have more card draw instead of ramp, add more card draw. Next, we've got Officious Interrogation, and I probably butchered that name, and I apologize. This card costs, blue and white more to cast for each target, but we get to investigate a whole bunch. We're going to be able to create so many tokens that it is crazy, because we're going to, be able to choose one person, and then we can, choose 2, and then that's going to cost us 2 white, 2 blue. And all of a sudden we've got, 20 tokens coming out because somehow everyone else's board got ahead of us. We're going to have Urza. So an Urza is another one of these ones that's going to be able to make us some big stompies. When he enters the battlefield, he's going to create a 0/0 colorless construct that is going to get +1/+1 for each artifact. We're also going to be able to turn all our clues into blue mana. And then we can, use him to shuffle and get more card draw that way. Shuffle the library, exile the top card, and be able to play it. So, pseudo card draw, kind of impulse draw from him. But this part here, being able to create this construct, is what we really want him for there. We've got Forensic Gadgeteer, so he is going to be able to investigate when we've cast our first artifact spell. We've got a lot of different artifact spells in here, so that's good. But this part here is even better. Artifact abilities are going to cost 1 less. This is in case we don't get our Nezarite out, which makes it so that they cost 2 less. It's kind of just like a little backup one of him, but being able to, you know, investigate every time we cast an artifact is going to be great. We've got Cyber Drive Awakener. So he is going to give our artifact creatures all flying. He's going to have flying, but when he enters, he's going to turn all of our non-creature artifacts into artifact creatures. So all of those, you know, clues that we've got sitting there, someone's like looking at them, they're like, what are you doing over there? All of a sudden you're turning all of those into 4/4s with flying, and boom, you're just running someone down with this army of clues that you're just throwing at them. I don't know what you're doing with them. You gave them life somehow. Either way, it's going to be crazy. We've got Tamamos Journal, and I'm half surprised this one wasn't actually in the base precon. It's going to investigate at our upkeep. So that's already insane. Investigate at our upkeep. But the second part here, we get to tap, sacrifice 3 clues, which we're going to have in abundance, search your library for a card, and then put that card into your hand and then shuffle. So it's just a tutor for sacking 3 clues. We're going to have clues out the wazoo. So we're going to be able to just sack, get a whole bunch of really great cards by just going through our deck and tutoring some really great stuff. And then our final one here is going to be Jira. I hate this art style for her. She's going to make it so that all our tokens can tap for green. All our clue tokens are going to be able to tap for green. Now, as for the cuts here, I have cut Ransom Note. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Yes, it's a clue. It's basically just a clue that you're paying for with 1. I just didn't really like it. It's got some good uses, but I think there's just other cards that we've added in that are better than it. Erdworld Illuminator. This makes it so the first time we investigate each turn, we investigate an additional time. While it's great to be able to create, you know, 2 clues each time, I personally think that there's just better options than it. We've got Hydroid Crassus. So it's going to allow us to be able to draw cards, but it's pretty expensive. It's going to be a big stompy, but I think the other big stompies that we've got in here with Thousand Smithy and with Urza, I think are just better. But I mean, it's a good option. So if you don't want to add in one of these, this would probably be one that I would keep in there. Ongoing investigation. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a play, investigate. It's just investigate once per turn. You do get the option of exiling stuff from your graveyard to investigate and draw life and gain life, but even that, you know, I think I'd rather some of these other cards that I got in here. Serene Sleuth. This one here is clearly kind of made for when you play against the other precons, because with it you can investigate for each goaded creature you control, and then each creature you control is no longer goaded. But goad isn't something that you're going to encounter all the time or very often, I don't think, in Commander, from my experience. So I don't think it's a necessity to have an anti-goading creature in here. Like, there's a better options. Armed with proof. When it enters the battlefield, investigate twice, and then clues are equipment, but the equipment is going to cost 2 to equip. I'd rather crack some of our clues. I'd rather turn them into creatures. I'd rather, you know, I just don't think that equipping them for 2 is going to be a great use of our mana or a great use of our clues. Killer Service. It creates food tokens, and then we can pay to sacrifice a token to create a creature token. I think that there's just better options in here, and you know, we've got other things that are going to be able to create stuff whenever we crack our clues without having to pay extra. We've got Magnifying Glass here. This is it's a mana rock that allows you to pay for and investigate. We've got better uses for our mana. 3 for a mana rock that is just making 1 colorless, I just don't think is great. You know, it's a very thematic card, but I just don't think it's insanely great use of our mana or our time. We've got Wher Rogue here, creating 2 Thopters when it comes into the battlefield. You being able to tap your artifacts to block, make something not be able to block is good, but this is costing us 4 to create 2 colorless artifact tokens. It's just going to sit there, and all it's doing is its ability, and even then I just think that there's better options than it. We've got Shimmer Dragon here, another one that you get to tap 2 untapped artifacts you control to draw a card. It also has hexproof if you've got 4 or more. I just don't think I like it. It's got 6 cost for a 5/6, and it's got card draw on it, but some of the other stuff in here that I've added in is, you know, going to make use of that card draw or has card draw on it as well. And then finally, we've got Hornet Queen here, going to cost us a whopping 7 for flying, death touch. When it enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. Is it good? Like, I don't think so. It's going to be able to create a whole bunch of tokens with death touch, which is really nice. But then again, you know, I would rather just overwhelm them with, you know, our win cons and our big stompies rather than just creating a whole bunch of kind of mini little blockers there. But that's it for today, guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Those are the kind of upgrades that I would do for a start. You know, there's some other big stuff that you can add in. I made like a little kind of side thing here with like displaced dinosaurs, for example, turning all our permanents, our historic permanents, so our artifacts, legendaries, and sagas into 7/7 dinosaurs. Turning all those clues into 7/7 dinosaurs is nice. We've got Min Willy Illusionist. So whenever you draw your second card, you create a blue illusion that's going to get buffed based on the other illusions. Very nice. And I think that would be really nice, especially because you can then use this to be able to cheat some stuff out. And then finally, like a Parallel Lives or, you know, any of those big kind of token doublers, I think will be great in this deck. You know, we've already got the Adrix and Nev, but then again, you know, more token doublers isn't going to go astray, and I think that those are great options. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. This was all voted on by you guys over here. At the moment, Revenant Recon is coming second there with Blame Gain and the Deadly Disguise. Make sure you guys subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 at the moment. We're out to 880. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and goodbye.